explain all that, but take a listen to his viewpoint on this. The media aid to the president. Take a listen.
This is Morning Crossfire.
The ECOWAS mandate and ultimatum is not a Nigerian ultimatum. It is not a Nigerian mandate. And the office of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, also serving as the chairman of ECOWAS, seeks to emphasize this point due to certain domestic and international media coverage tending toward a personalization of the ECOWAS's sub-regional position to his person and to our nation individually. It is because of this that Mr. President has deemed it necessary to state unequivocally that the mandate and ultimatum issued by ECOWAS is that of ECOWAS's position. While His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has assumed the ECOWAS chairmanship, the position of ECOWAS conveys the consensus position of member heads of state, and a coup would not occur in one's backyard without one being particularly aware of it. We have been, let me phrase it this way. His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his capacity as the chairman of ECOWAS, has been unequivocal in his position that diplomacy is the best way forward. In representing the consensus position of the ECOWAS heads of state, he has communicated clearly that he, along with his colleagues in the bloc, would prefer a resolution that was obtained through diplomatic means, through peaceful means, rather than any other. And that will be a position that is maintained going forward, pending any other resolution that may or may not result from the ECOWAS Extraordinary Summit holding on Thursday.
This is Morning Crossfire.
So the summit holds tomorrow. That's the ECOWAS summit. That would give the new direction in which things would go next, as one would expect. Essentially. But then Timi Presiva was also seeing the president. Let me share with you a little bit of what he said with regards to the things he discussed with the president and also the Bayelsa election.
This is Morning Crossfire.
What he's doing, and I thought it was very important that some of us will see him and let him know the great things he's doing. For the first time in Nigeria, states and federal government were to share 1.9 trillion. It's unprecedented. I believe that we are on the verge of a turnaround, an economic turnaround in this country. And going by the American parlance, is the economy stupid? We need a president who understands the economy, and I believe that we have one now. That's really part of what we discussed. And secondly, I had to also discuss the progress we are making in Bayelsa. You know that I am the candidate for the governorship of Bayelsa in the forthcoming governorship election on the 11th of November. We are set to take over Bayelsa, and I had to inform Mr. President of what we are doing and also take advice from Mr. President. That basically were the two issues that we discussed.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Okay, so from there, there's this very important extract I need to play for you. there's talks about harmonizing tax reforms in the country. The federal government has, its own set of taxes. The state governments have their own set of taxes. The local governments also show up with their own set of taxes. And there's a need to harmonize this and reform and eliminate and add. And some say, well, when you say add, does it mean we're going to pay more tax? Well, I would say this way. Let's listen to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu explain what he's thinking around the issues of tax. Take a listen to his speech yesterday as he spoke to the Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. They made their own introduction and gave insight. UI student was also there. A few other people who are stars of tax reforms and who understand how tax system works provided a view. Then the president provided his own point of view and what should happen next. Take a listen.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Excellency, the Vice President, Mr. Olawale Edu, SAC, particularly the Acting Controller of Customs, and Mr. Taiwo Yedele. Members of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee and our little daughter, other senior government officials here present, I thank you very much. Today marks another milestone in our quest to reform our economy and re-engineer the finances of our country for the optimal performance. Since we get into office in the last few months, we have taken steps to reset and revamp the economy. My first action was the removal of subsidy. It was pushing the country off fiscal balance. The second was to put an end to the misappropriation of nations' wealth through preferential foreign exchange system. It's a cesspool of corruption. While we needed to take these important decisions immediately, we knew also that further reforms would be needed if we are to reposition this country and remove the barriers and bottleneck stunting our economic growth. Our administration carries the burden of expectation of Nigerian people who want their government to make a life much better and easier. We campaigned on a promise of a better country anchored on our renewed hope agenda. I am determined to fulfill that promise, and so I have committed myself to work tirelessly to improve the quality of life of our people. It must be said, however, that all goods and helpful plans we have mapped out to make living a better experience for Nigerians will amount to nothing if we are unable to derive the resources necessary to bring them to reality. A government can only function well when it can reasonably discharge its responsibilities to the people. A sound fiscal policy, environment, and a fit-for-purpose tax system are critical for the effective functioning of government and the economy. Without revenue, government cannot provide adequate social services to the people it is entrusted to serve. Yet, the means by which government raises its revenue is just as important as the end to which such monies are put. Unfortunately, Nigeria's current international standing in the sector shows that we have a long way to go. Globally, Nigeria ranks very low on metrics such as the ease of paying taxes, ease of doing business. Equally, our tax to GDP ratio is one of the lowest in the world and falls below even the African average. The consequences of ongoing failure of our tax regime are real and significant. The inability of government to efficiently raise revenue has led directly to an over-reliance on borrowing to finance public spending. A government that cannot properly fund itself will also lack the flexibility or physical scope to sensibly manage the economy or respond to external shocks. Instead, debt service begin to consume an ever greater portion of government already meager revenues. This trap the economy in a vicious cycle of borrowing simply to service previous debt and leaves almost no scope for socio-economic development. As president, I am determined to end this cycle. On the day of my inauguration, I promise that that my administration will address all the issues impeding investment and economic growth in Nigeria. This promise is why I saw an end to the fuel subsidy. It is the reason the central bank has called an end to its multiple exchange rate system.
Stay with me. After the break, we'll listen to the concluding part of what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu talks on with regards to the economy. This is Morning Crossfire with Femi Live. I'll be back shortly as we conclude on this and take up the discussion from there. Stay with us.
This is an announcement.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1. I am Femi D. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics today in a way trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, cause the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and then get differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
This is Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. is Nigeria Info. This 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 is Nigeria Info.
And its present economy.
They won't watch. The same reason we gather here today to inaugurate the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Reforms. Thank you, Mr. Oyedele, for accepting the assignment. The committee has been established to address the broad scope challenges in our economy. Its work shall be divided into 3 areas. These are: 1, fiscal governance; 2, tax reform; and growth facility. Within the scope of this mandate, the committee shall, as its objective, the advancement of able and cost-effective solutions to issues such as multiplicity of revenue collection agencies, the cost of revenue administration, the excessive burden of compliance on ordinary taxpayers, the lack of effective coordination between fiscal and other economic policies within and across offices of government, and poor accountability in the utilization of our tax revenue. The committee is comprised of experts from both private and public sector. I've given them a strong mandate, and I expect their report to cover tax reform, fiscal policy design, and coordination, harmonization of taxes, and revenue administration and other items. Our target is to improve Nigeria's revenue while making the business environment more conducive, internationally competitive. Our aim is to transform our system to sustainable development, while at the same time achieving a minimum of 18% tax to GDP rate within the next 3 years. In order to ensure implementation, the committee shall be empowered not merely to make recommendations, but also provide practical support and support the government in execution and delivery of the recommended changes. The committee is expected to achieve its mandate within a period of 1 year. They are, in most instances, expected to deliver a scheduled reforms which will be implemented within 30 days. Critical reform measures to be recommended within 6 months, and full implementation will take place within 1 year. In carrying out this mandate, the committee will be guided by national interests of all else and not continue to tax poverty. We should be promoting prosperity. We should no longer investment or production, but focus on returns and consumption. This government will tax the fruit, but not the seeds.
This is Morning Crossfire.
This government will the fruit, not the seed. Do you agree? Is this good enough? Some of those reforms will come in months, some will take a year. Some are expected to come in within weeks, but they have a good measure of work to do and do it in the interest of the nation. I said the former minister of coordinating minister of the economy, Buhari, I meant to say under President Jonathan, not President Buhari. Somebody brought that to my attention to me. Thanks for that. All right, let's listen to you.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Please, my name is Robin from Istanbul.
Oh, from Turkey, right? Yes.
My brother, there's something that happened our place now. I want all the whole Nigerians to hear. Yesterday, I'm a driver operator. I work 6 o'clock in the evening. The white man called me and said I will have to go. Same 500 naira you are paying out from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. 500 I can never house. That is what we say, okay, we should go. So they said not take us for work. But so with the thing for this country, it's not good like this, so it's not good. That's why I compared to Nigerians. I didn't do anything.
Okay. Did anybody get what you were saying? If you can call me back, if you can't, send a WhatsApp message. Let's get a better understanding of what you're saying, please. You can call me over back, okay?
Dr. Femi.
Yes, please.
How are you? My name is Abakar calling you from Gogo.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Very briefly, I want to appreciate.
Oh, there. Yes, I can hear you.
We just that you have give up platform to bring notice to the public that one of our class scholars, Austin the Goodman, is down serious health. So we are requesting for help for him. Mom is you oversee whatever people do, the contribution they will likely make. So she need to share her contact, and they will link up with Austin the Goodman. That is my tip. Thank you, sir.
Oh, just before you go, so that I can make a little bit. So she has also shared the contact details of Goodman, his phone number and account number. She has sent it via the WhatsApp line. I know we requested for a number, direct number. And what I've done to send a message and your telephone number to her. In the intervention tends to call you herself. She'll be giving permission or consent a telephone number through that way. But if that's not the case, she has also shared Austin the Goodman's contact and his account number for people who want to reach out to him. So that's nothing. Many we have strong reservations when it comes to raising money because people sometimes I mean, people can be opportunistic around things like this. Austin is a very hard work if you know him well enough. But other people, we don't want to end up being the radio station that Abbas is totally inclined towards charity, and it becomes a very messy situation. We've tried that those stories don't go down well with me, and we've had to navigate through. So if you're interested in, give him, if you send me a WhatsApp message, copy and paste his account number, send it to any of us. On Mommy Z redirects us what to do with that. You're not sending any of us, okay? We don't want to do anybody's cash. None of our colleagues with that, okay? Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes.
Robert
Solomon, yeah?
Robert from Istanbul, Turkish.
Yes. Okay, you are telling us about the story. You're in Turkey, right?
Yes, Steve. I didn't see one of the it's just that they say we should do about 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. I want that 500 naira can make me go and pay it. At least I didn't have naira if I miss most for the currency. So that man don't know what they do. I should come this morning about home. And then I said, supposed to be. I don't know anything.
It's not supposed to be, but I mean, how come you say 500 naira? Okay, do you work for a Turkish person or in Turkey?
I didn't know anything. He said 500 naira. I don't want you to go where
No. I'm asking you. Are you in Turkey or you work for a Turkish? Oh, you're in Duse, yeah. So you work for a Turkish person. Okay, all right. Just listen up. Let's see. It's not supposed to be so, and I do hope, for such reasons, if you provide me more detail, let's reach out to the organization and see what this is really all about. Okay, send me a WhatsApp message. Let's see whether we can reach out to them. But I mean, in Nigeria, they have to respect the laws of the country. You cut people for asking for money for time. It's not proper for you to do. It has to be a reason, unless maybe someone working properly or somebody doesn't do stuff properly. It's not done. It's very annoying that some, and I use the word some, the diplomatic community often the country and really treat Nigerians in the country where they work as close to slaves, and I have strong reasons about that. Some, and some of those embassies we have verified, and it's sad that we have to call out these people, but it's not proper. And we do hope the Ministry of Foreign Affairs looks into how Nigeria, for some members of some entities of diplomatic community here, it's terrible, by the way. Ministry of Affairs, the stories are plenty to talk about. And I wonder if, venture, you could help them understand our labor law and they should approach working with Nigeria stations, treat people as slaves. It's terrible. Some of those stories are terrifying. Good morning to you.
Hello. Good morning to you.
Yes, welcome.
This morning.
Doing very well. Good to you.
Okay. My name is I'm calling you from Cairo.
Okay, from Cairo.
The issue is that our government has not been able to live up to expectation. That's why people come in here and they treat like this. That this doesn't happen in other plans. I was opportune to work in Moscow. Can you?
Yes, I can.
In the company where I work in Moscow, they were the ones that opened my account. They took my details, went to the bank, opened the account, without me knowing the address of the bank. The name of the bank is Avangard in Moscow.
Okay.
When we are at work, they gave us a card. That card is...
Oh, dear. I really wish you would call back. Okay. I really wish you would call back if you can. Please do. All right, well, start. But please do call back if you can. Let's take some more calls about this. Good morning to you. Hello, good morning. Yes, good to have you on.
Yeah, this is right, but
all right, bye, Stars.
Yeah, we have listened to the response to the Nigerian to the Nigerians who are criticizing the president for thinking of initiative which are shown in the Niger Republic. What aside that this is not the solution of the president of the president of Nigeria, but the collective decision of ECOWAS guided by its treaty. ECOWAS has a defense part way back in 19.
Oh dear, but Shazan, it's good to hear you. If you can hear.
The president is.
Oh dear. But Shazan, if you can hear me, it's difficult to hear on our end. By the way, you have a message. Somebody is requesting for your hand on Facebook. So go to the broadcast on the newspaper review. You see comments there where somebody requested for you Facebook hand in order for them to be part of, essentially just listening to. All right, I have room for just a few more because to round off soon enough. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. I think the mix up the name. What is it, Mommy C or Austin? Who are they talking about?
Who, you mean the account number or?
Yes, no, we want to know who is. Is it Mommy?
Oh no, Mommy is fine.
Some of us are interested.
No, Mommy is fine. She brought to our attention the good man is sick. His vehicle that he used for operation is also down and he's been sick for a while. So she's trying to advocate that people who should help to raise funds for him. And she's been able to get his account number. She is fine.
Okay, she's all right. Okay.
Yes, she is fine.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Mommy Z, the star. I knew I told like this. You say, Dr. Limio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Yeah, my name is Ray.
All right, Jerry, good to have you on.
Yeah, I'm attending this program.
Thank you, sir.
There's something I want to say regarding how foreigners treat Nigerians. I work with one of these companies, and it's disheartening to see that our government have left these foreigners to Nigerians any way they like. You find out that somebody in Nigeria will be employed without an employment letter, and something happened in this. Some staff were asking for their salary because the salary late. So we took it to the policeman. What they said was that to any contract, when we have to pay you, if you care, you can take us to anywhere, go to any court. We don't take contract. We can decide to pay you whenever we want to pay you. That's exactly Nigerians are passing through.
In the country.
In the hands of this. Something needs to be done.
All right. Agree. Thank you so much. Something needs to be done now. Hope that at least one or two should be kicked out and kick out of the country for them to understand the implication of doing this. There are guides that allow them to operate in an embassy, and some of the foreigners who own organizations in the country, their quotas, the number of Nigerians by thereabout that they should employ. The likes of we should be able to each other. Don't treat people like saints. Don't use abusive language. Somebody used an abusive language, an Arabic language on an Nigerian. Fortunately for him, he didn't realize that he had stayed around the Arabs so long to understand what that means. He later told the person understood to apologize and plead. I mean, things like this is what sent some. I mean, the first thing did it was sent out based on the fact that you used such a phrase on a Nigerian. The top team heard about it and they had to let him be. Good morning to you.
Good Dr. Femi Diamele, Paul from Lokogoma.
Welcome, Mr. Paul.
Thank you. Femi, if there's any, can get the good man's number or details from anywhere.
Yes, if you send me a WhatsApp, I'll paste it. I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Secondly, on the issue of Niger, Femi, talking about ECOWAS, apart the writing of WAEC, the exact and extort people, I am reasoning, is there any other function of ECOWAS, of the ECOMOG whatsoever?
If there's any other, there's ECOWAS, there's ECOMOG. The ECOMOG is part of ECOWAS, yes.
On West African, their name.
West Africa.
Now, what's the function of ECOWAS?
The community of West African states that they have
what is the function? Their function. What have they built any school?
No.
Any hospital? Is it take the interest of the leaders so that they will continue to be impoverishing people? What is happening in Ivory Coast? Anything. People are suffering in Ivory Coast. Guantanamo has protected. They went to observe that election. Why are they not stopping people from being tyrannical? They're just coming to protect their interest. AU is not saying anything. People are dying. Look at what is happening in Nigeria.
Oh, dear.
Do you know that it's getting to 700-800? When subsidy was removed of recent, it was 500 naira. Now anybody is selling people 700, 800, nothing is happening. Very hard, 1,000. Nothing is happening. And people are suffering, dying. There's no good leadership. ECOWAS will not do anything apart from YXMD. ECOWAS done any other thing. Thank you.
Right. All right. Well, that's what I'm saying it. But, essentially, for example, the ECOMOG is separate armies working together for, to achieve, the various goals set out by ECO on their behalf. Now, one of the things that you do have when you have a group together, especially if they're close together, quite a number of natural resources are likely going to be similar. For example, if you have these resources on the ground in this country, it's likely the next country has it. And so if there's some sort of investment, foreign investors could consider investing in a community of countries that are close to each other by proxy. In some instances, countries that see each other by proxy is where you find the likes of, what's the name of that? The one that has China, Africa, Brazil, BRICS. Yes, BRICS before. Russia, India, I think Canada is South Africa, and there are a few other ones that are trying into it. If you have things in common, easier to invest and get extension of the world to be of it. But in some instances, of treaties that you signed among us, we'll behave ourselves accordingly. Once there's a mismatch of how your government, when you have some military-led, some democracy, your goals will definitely be different. And that's where the challenge comes along.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you.
Yeah, my name is
Okay, welcome.
Let me take from one of your stories that Senator Omishare the result is not ceremony or something like that. In my phone, I can assure you every day. If you want me to come up in your place, the journalists read it that they are going with almost 32 billion. What is money? Why? Okay, let them tell us why die. How can just somebody resign like that? As you have to be almost 4 years. You do only 1 year and some months, and you resign. How can you resign any less than that? Nobody is within short, and the time is no to resign. Just resign. Let him go. We should to come and tell us why resign.
Okay.
Bye bye for now.
All right, to you as well. Thanks for your view. Good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, World Class Dr. Femi. I remain my humble self, Abubakar Ali Tinubu King. I'm calling from TWK.
Welcome.
Of course, Tinubu, we know that Tinubu is the chairperson of the ECOWAS. We know that Nigeria contribute over 60 to 70% of the expenses of us. And that is why, because of influence that Nigeria has on ECOWAS, we are advising that Nigeria should not be in the because the people of northern area and the people of southern Niger are separated an imaginary line called through colonialism. They are these people. Mr. Femi, can you tell me people of Benin Republic before independence are not part of Lagos?
Yeah, I mean, even still now, there are people cross borders at ease. Yes.
So, some families are separated by that line. Some families in Niger part, while some are in Nigeria. Are they not the same people? If Niger decides to retaliate and throw bomb, will they land in Lagos, in Maikano or Jigawa or Kapen land? If they want to fight Benin Republic, if the Benin throw bomb, will they land in Katsina, Lagos, Ogun that will be affected? That is not our shouting. We are not saying we are our president. No. We are just bringing effect on our people. I beg you very much.
All right. Thank you for your view to this. Good morning to you. Welcome.
Hello, Mr. Femi. Nothing breaks the news like the news.
Yes, and I can prove it. Welcome, dear friend.
Good morning, sir. My name is Obidis Watchful. I'm not happy for what I have received this morning.
Okay.
Please, can number announced on the air?
We don't do that. We don't do that. No, we don't do that. My brother, somebody would have to send text message. We don't do that. We don't announce numbers on air. We don't.
Okay, should I call my...
if you have any of the Nigerian people's number in terms of any of friends of families, yes, that'll be fine. You can contact, but we don't do that.
Okay, who would I call? Who would I call?
I don't know. You may need to somebody you know, but we do not announce telephone numbers or privacy details on air. We can't do that.
Announce my air so they can send their test of the month. Let me call my number.
No, sir. No, sir. For your own privacy, I have told you that you cannot call your own number on air. Please. You can't do that.
How do we do it now? How do we do it? That's the problem. I'm not talking about Nigeria. I'm talking about human life.
I've told you how we approach. You may have to approach it through another way. If you send a text message, I can send your number. If you send a text message, I'll call text message sent to Mommy Z. But I cannot you call the number on air, and I cannot call the other person's number on air. Privacy issues that relate around testing.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
All right. Okay, I'm just going to... I'm out of time. All right, see you later. Bless you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Oh, out of time already. God bless you. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Femi D.
This is an
This is Nigeria.